Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. I'm here to bring you the astrology forecast for the week of the 20th through the 26th of July. That's Sunday to the following Saturday. And this week is full of energy. There's two main actors, which are the Sun and the North Node. They're kind of showing up multiple times this week, and I'll get to what I think that's about, but it just on a very cursory level, if the Sun, which is our 3D self, our personification in this world, our physicality in this world, is also like somehow being lit up together with where we're headed. That's the North Node, individually, but especially collectively. So this means that we're probably going to be getting through all these aspects downloads about our role in the collective and why we're here. So let's kick it off with Sunday, the 20th. We have two things going on that day. And I'll also say, the week starts off the first couple days, first part of the week, challenging. And then there's more of a flow as we get to the latter part of this week. As with everything, things are cuspy, but take the challenges. One of the messages that came through as I was looking at the astrology was to take the challenges as a part of the journey and to remember and realize that there's never anything quote unquote wrong, and to entertain what if this week part of the theme is we just entertain the phrase everything's always working out for me, and then embody that. And that means the challenges become opportunities. It doesn't mean that we need to force ourselves to feel some way that we don't. But if you've ever been in a situation that was quite challenging and then you were able to look back on it, however long or later it took, there's so many ways that we can see even the things that are our most challenging times are truly part of our path. So let's get to Sunday. We have Venus in Gemini, sesquiquadrate Pluto in Aquarius, and then we also have Mars in Leo opposing the North Node. Sesquiquadrate and oppositions are both challenging aspects. Breakdown to breakthrough, needs for adjustment. And so it's interesting that it's Venus and Mars, which is much more related to our physical world. And, in theory, the yin to the yang could be part of the energy of Venus and Mars. Venus being in Gemini is a little bit more about justice for the collective, harmony for the collective, multi perspectives. Mars in Virgo, I've mentioned before, Mars ain't super comfortable in Virgo. Mars, likes to charge ahead. Virgo's helping it to pump the brakes and pay attention to some details. So in that regard, maybe some of the challenges might be about not pushing. And then if there are technicalities that come up, to trust that those technicalities, we'd want to get a tune-up on our car, but before we take it on the road trip of our lives, right? So like if something comes up, like that's part of the energy. And to have both Pluto and the North Node involved in these sort of challenges is definitely pointing us to the bigger picture, that we likely have only begun to understand and conceive because the downloads are coming in now. So this is part of the, I think the larger lesson for this week, or the larger theme is, I've said trust the flows before, but I think it's especially operational during the beginning of this week. On Monday, we have Venus in Gemini now squaring the North Node. So Venus is both opposing Pluto, but then also opposing the North Node. So this is, kind of, when I saw this, I was thinking it's about the idea that all perspectives matter, but also wisdom and truth matters. Our truth matters. And we have a wisdom that we are called to contribute. And we also can tap into the greater wisdom of what is best for the collective. So it's not necessarily, all perspectives matter could almost invite chaos if it was just completely disheveled. But there's a divine order here, and I think that's what that aspect is about on Monday. And then the next aspect we have is on Wednesday. This is when things start to shift up a little bit, and we're going to start to feel the flows happening. But the first thing that happens on Wednesday is that we have Venus in Gemini squaring Mars. So this is kind of just like the closure of that challenge. And so this is realizations about collective justice for the future, but also our role in that, our role in how do we want to be Who do we want to be? And there might be some challenges, but again, trust the challenges and trust that the things that are maybe not going the way we expected them to or going the way that they have in the past. Well, if we're going through a collective transformation right now, 2024 to 2026, then yeah, some of the stuff that we are used to in the past um, might be up for revision. We also have the sun in Leo. Sun's going to start to be active here on Wednesday. It's sextiling Uranus in Gemini. So this is helping us to make these connections between 3D and 5D again. Um, Sun in Leo is just really encouraging us to shine our heart, to shine our light, and to be happy with who we are and proud of who we are, and to lift other people up as we're doing so, and to remember that we're supposed to be beautiful, joyful, happy beings as a part of a beautiful, joyful, happy collective. Mars is also active on Wednesday. It's biquintile Chiron in Aries. So this is about creative flows. This is about creative flows, but it's interesting because Mars and Chiron has some things to teach Mars for sure. If Mars is our 3D action oriented self, Chiron is our super old soul self that shows those aspects of our human life that maybe our rational mind would never have picked out. Why is this challenging circumstances? Why would my soul select blah, this person is my boss or whatever? You know what I mean? Like these things that just drive us nuts. And Chiron's reminding us that some of these things that are challenges are there to keep us on course for the bigger perspective. So to be willing to, so we're going to start to feel the importance of our truth and the importance of our message instinctively at a gut level is going to start to be activated on Wednesday, and that's going to carry through the rest of the week. Thursday, we've got the sun in Leo, super duper active. It's trining both Saturn and then it's trining Neptune. And I talked about how right now Saturn and Neptune are doing this kind of tag team thing, right? Where Saturn goes first, contraction, seeming limitation. Neptune comes next, new opportunity, new way of doing something, new prioritization. Something is happening in a way and flowing things in a way that we didn't see possible. And to have the sun trining both of these is not only a very fortunate flow of energy, but it's going to really help us to embody our truth and embody the reason why we're here. Fast forward to Friday, sun's still active. This time it's in an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto only shows up twice this week. And on both times Pluto shows up, I already mentioned the first one on Sunday, but both times Pluto's in a challenging aspect. First to Venus, now to the sun. So Pluto challenging us because it's the planet of death and rebirth. It's challenging us to let go, challenging us to let go of the way we think we have value, the way we think, if it's opposing the sun, the way we think we are who we are in the world. You know, the question of, you know, who, somebody asks you at a dinner party, who are you? And it's kind of like, well, what do I do? What's my family situation? Where do I live? But then at the end of the day, like we instinctively know we're so much more than that. So that's going to be a little bit of the energy that Pluto's going to bring on Friday. We also have Mars, quintile, Jupiter, and Cancer. And quintiles, again, are just kind of these instinctive activations where we're going to almost feel our back come out our front. And the idea that we are naturally always creative beings. Mars is a 3D planet. Jupiter is right on the cusp. Jupiter in Cancer is very fortunate this year. So this means if there's any download or any inspiration that might hit you around the end of this week, have a look at it. Have a look at it. Be willing to spend an hour reading about it. Watch a video about it. Talk to somebody about it. It does not mean that this is for sure the do all, end all, be all, hard stop answer to your question, future, whatever. But it does mean that there's something there and it's worth looking into. And then Saturday, we have both Mercury active. Mercury is going to be biquintile, the North Node. Mercury is also in Leo, and we have Sun sesquiquadrate the North Node, and the Mercury is also quintile Uranus. So let's talk about Mercury first. Planet of communication, interacting with the North Node, interacting with Uranus. Upgrades in how we think we are communicating. I've been talking about this as a theme for a while, especially since Uranus has been super active recently. But we are way more powerful than we think we are. And we are the stuff, the creative stuff, the life force of this 3D into 5D world. And there's some potential for us to really be able to embody that. And when we embody that, we're going to be able to lift ourselves up and out of the things that feel stuck in our lives. And that's indicated also by the sun sesquiquadrate the north node, another aspect of sun and north node. And that is again about the ability for us to have a deeper understanding, of a more robust understanding in our cells type of understanding of the reason why we're here, what this world's about, what this life's about, what this universe is about, what this story is about, and to really take I am ownership of the power that we have as creators. All right. I hope that you have a beautiful week, and I will see you next Saturday. Bright blessings and so much love.